We learnt in an earlier video that if we click on a page in OneNote, we can simply start typing anywhere. And whatever we typed appears in what they call a container. So you can see this text here is sitting in a box which is known as a container. Now once you've typed some text, you have options regarding the formatting of that text. For example, I might decide I want to select all the text in this container. One way to quickly select all the text is to press Ctrl A. Now sometimes you have to press Ctrl A a couple of times to get all the text in the container, so I've pressed Ctrl A twice. What I might decide to do is change the font. At the moment the font is Calibri, but if I hit the drop down I can see I have a variety of choices, so I might change it to Arial. Having chosen Arial, I might then choose a font size. It currently is 11, but I have the option of hitting the drop down and increasing the font size or decreasing the font size, so I'll take it down to 10. Now the other thing you may notice is when you click in a container that there is this little grey arrow, and if I was to click this grey arrow, I've just selected this text. And this is how you select text because you want to format it to some degree. Now having chosen the font and the font size, you've also got things like bold. This button, for example, will turn the bold on, and it will also turn the bold off. This button will turn on the italics and turn off the italics. And this button will turn on the underline and turn off the underline. The other option you've got is to highlight text. If I select this text, for example, I have got this button here, which is a highlighter. If I click the drop down, there's actually a lot of different highlighting colors I can use. And I might just go for this light green. And that's automatically highlighted that text in light green. Now you may also notice that when you select text, you do get a mini toolbar. And the mini toolbar also contains a highlighter, and you can choose no color if you wanted to turn the highlighting off. But it also has other options such as bold. And there's even more options in here. So that's the mini toolbar. Now the next button I want to look at on the toolbar is the font color. For this I'm going to select all the text. I'm going to press Ctrl A twice. This is the font color here, and it has a drop down. And again I have a lot of font colors I can choose from. So I might choose a purple, and that's automatically changed the color of my text to purple. Now I might decide to make this particular heading look a little bit different from the rest of the text. So I'm going to increase the font size to perhaps 14. I'm going to change the text color to maybe orange, and I'm going to make it bold. I then want to apply this look to, for example. If you select text that has a particular look, and you click the Format Painter button, which is this one here, it will paint this format onto other text you select. So I'll click the Format Painter, and now I'm going to click the triangle in front of for example, and that will paint that look onto that text. It also paints it onto the text that was underneath, for example. Now if that's not what I wanted, in OneNote you have Undo, and this is this arrow here. When you click this button, it will undo anything you don't want to do. So I'm going to click the Undo button. Notice also Ctrl Z is the shortcut key for undo. This button here is redo, so I can redo making that orange and bold. And the shortcut key for redo is Ctrl Y. Ctrl Y and Ctrl Z are redo and undo, the last two letters of the alphabet. So I'm going to undo that format painting. Now I'm going to select this orange text again, but maybe just one word by double clicking. I'm going to click on my Format Painter, and now I'm just going to drag over, for example, because that's all I want to affect. So sometimes you have to be a little bit more specific with what you want to paint the format onto. Sometimes we want to clear all the formatting that's gone on in a container. So I'm going to press Ctrl A twice, and this is the Clear Format button, which will basically get rid of the font color, the bold, and any changes in font size, and just return it to normal text. There are more formatting options in this V here, for example. We have something called Subscript, Superscript, and Strike Through. Let's start with strike through because it's easy to relate to. I'm just going to select this line of text here, and I want to indicate that I want it removed. So I'm going to apply strike through. And that strike through indicates to others that I want that text removed. If I then select it again, I can turn off the strike through and it goes back to being normal. Now let's give you an example of superscript and subscript. First of all, I'm going to type 360. Now I need a degree symbol. That's what they call superscript. Superscript lifts things up. I want to do an O for degrees, but I want it lifted up. So I go into this V and I go into superscript. I type a little O and notice how it's been lifted up so it looks like a degrees. But if I keep typing now, everything will be little. So I'll backspace, keep my O and go back to normal. To go back to normal, I go back to the V and I turn the superscript off. So whatever you type between turning the superscript on and turning the superscript off is lifted. For example, I might decide I want 100 meters squared. So I turn on my superscript, I do a 2, and I turn off my superscript. And that's how you get superscript. Now also in your notes, you'll notice I've mentioned if you hold the Alt key and press 0176 on your number pad, you will get a degree sign in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, pretty much every Microsoft program. If you want a squared symbol, just like 100 meters squared you see here, hold the Alt key and press 0178 and you'll get a squared symbol. And if I type, say, 3000 M, and now I need a cube, I could do the superscript thing, or hold the Alt key, 0179, and then let the Alt key go, and you'll automatically get your superscript. Whereas subscript is the opposite of superscript, it drops a character. For example, I might want H2O for water, and I want the 2 to be dropped. So I'm going to go H, hit the V, choose subscript, do a 2, hit the V, turn off subscript, and do a capital O. And subscript has been applied to the number 2. So I have H2O. Another example might be oxygen. O, hit the V, turn on subscript, do a 2, hit the V, and turn off subscript. And so we have the ability to create superscript and subscript in this V here. Now with another thing that's very useful when formatting text is bullets and numbering. Let me just create a gap here and let me just type some text. Now I'd like this text to be numbered. So I highlight these 3 lines, and not completely, just enough to indicate all 3. And up here on your toolbar you have a numbering button. You can have 1, 2, 3, you can have Roman, you can have uppercase ABC, or even lowercase ABC. But I'm just going to go back to 1, 2, 3. Oops, 1, 2, 3. Besides numbering, you can also have bullets. So I'm going to select these 3 lines here, and here's my bullets icon or button. I'm going to hit the bullets button, and there's my bullets. If I hit the drop down, I can choose just a black circle, or a hollow circle, or any one of these listed, maybe even a tick. So there's a variety of bullets you can choose from as well. Now also you can create what they call sub-bullets. I want to indent this line here, for example, special instructions. So I use the increase indent button to indent, and this changes to a sub-bullet. In fact, each time I click it, I indent further and further, and each indent has a different bullet. If I increase the indent, I can send that bullet back up. So you're basically what they call promoting and demoting. Now you can use Alt-Shift right arrow to demote, Alt-Shift right arrow, or hold Alt-Shift and hit the left arrow to promote. So you can promote and demote bullets. As well as earlier we looked at, you can press Alt-Shift up arrow and Alt-Shift down arrow to rearrange paragraphs. Now another way to quickly format headings is to use styles. So if I have a heading here, for example, and I have a heading here, I may want a consistent quick look to apply, and that's this here, Styles. I'll click on this first line and I'll choose heading 1. I'll click on this heading and choose heading 1, and I'll click on this one and choose heading 1. It's a quick way to consistently format all your main headings. But you can actually apply a heading 2 style, 3 style, 4, 5, and 6 style. There's a variety of styles you can quickly apply to selected text just by choosing from here. Now there are also shortcut keys for the styles. Control Alt 1 is a heading 1. Control Alt 2, as you can see mimicked here, is a heading 2. Control Alt 3 is a heading 3. Control Alt 4 is a heading 4, and so on. So I'll press Control Alt 1 and go back to the heading 1. So styles can easily be applied with shortcut keys as well. And lastly, there's the ability to cut, copy, and paste. For example, if I select this text here, I can cut by hitting this little clipboard and choosing the cut option, or copy. I can then go to where I want to put this information, and I can hit the clipboard and I can paste. You can just as easily use right-click to cut, or copy and paste. And you can also use the shortcut keys, Control X for cut, Control C for copy, and Control V for paste.